Greetings everyone. So today I'm evaluating Athlete 2's speech number 10, which is Inspire. So the very first thing I want to point out is what really makes a good inspirational speech is really the beginning, in my opinion. And what she really did to do that really effectively was she started off with a story. Now why is that really important? It's because it gives us an eagerness to listen in, not just start from the bat with saying, I think you guys should do this or that. But instead she started with a story, so it allowed us to really draw us into the moment. And not to mention, it gave us something that was familiar, because we all know Titanic, very famous incident about hundreds of lives sank into the ocean, and that story particularly about the group that was playing was very famous. And also on top of that, she also used something to help close this whole speech together, which was a poem. And to me, that purpose of that poem was it allowed us to bring the core value behind the speech, which what I got from it was persistence. Where she's saying that no matter what, even though you're near the end, you always gotta keep pushing on. And that poem really encompassed that, or at least that quote, to be specific. And she used that quote to really emphasize the idea. Because although maybe some of you might not be familiar with the story about the Titanic, at least she was able to wrap it all up at the very end. And not to mention, she was able to add a self-touch to that story. One good reason why it's very important, in my opinion, to add a little self-story about yourself is because it allows you to show that you yourself have been inspired by this kind of motive. And I can relate to her finals week. Last week I just finished my finals, and I had the same ideology that I was going to keep pushing through to the very end, no matter what. I can't just slack. Went through the same thing as senior right, so I was able to connect with her on a very similar level. Now, some things that I think could be improved on, but not so much, is mainly just not looking at your notes so much, because I noticed that when you did look at the notes, you kind of slowed down a bit, or you had to gather your thoughts. And to me, it's a good idea to have notes to reference, but at the same time, it slows you down mentally because it adds another task on your body to read. So on top of speaking, you have to read something. So that's probably one thing I would work on. And aside from that, maybe also to work on just the flow of your speech just in general. That's probably the main aspect I think that can be worked on, just the flow. But other than that, it's a very great speech, very inspiring story, and with a great quote to wrap it all up. And try to evaluate.